What's up, YouTube? So before we get started with this video, on first take, think about what quarterback is going to be under the most pressure in the AFC West, Philip Rivers or Derek Carr. So let's see what they have to say about that.
Which AFC West player is under the most pressure?
Philip Rivers. Philip Rivers is under the most pressure, in fact. And I know people are like, well, you think of him, I still sometimes call them the San Diego Chargers. But they're in LA now. And that's a huge media market. And Philip Rivers and the Chargers last year, I thought, were the best team in the AFC. I mean, even, he had receivers dropping passes early. That's why they lost to the Chiefs, who were the best team, I thought, in the AFC. I mean, Tom Brady throws an interception to end the game, and then a whistle brings it back, and they wind up beating the Chiefs. But I thought the Chiefs were better than the Patriots. And I thought the Chargers were better than the Chiefs. But the way Philip Rivers went out at Foxborough, you have maybe the best team you've ever been on. He's been on quite a few good teams. Both sides of the ball, just a well-balanced team, ready to win a championship, I thought, with a quarterback who came into the league with Eli and Roethlisberger, who both have two. And you got none, in spite of the fact that...
Yeah, exactly. He has none. He has none. So I would definitely say that these guys are both under two different types of pressure. So Derek Carr is under pressure for his job, for his livelihood, because if it doesn't work out this year, Chucky's probably going to get rid of him. So Derek Carr is probably very worried about his job. That's a different kind of pressure than what Philip Rivers is under. Philip Rivers is under legacy pressure. So if he doesn't win this year or never gets a Super Bowl, his legacy is going to be in trouble. But for me personally, I have to say that Philip Rivers is one of the purest of the greatest trash quarterbacks ever. He is the purest of the greatest trash quarterbacks ever. Philip Rivers is good to be up 3 touchdowns with about 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter and then immediately throw 3 picks in a row, 3 pick sixes in a row to the house and go to overtime. Then, in overtime, he's good to fumble the ball and D lineman pick it up and run and lose the game for the Chargers. That's what I'm talking about, a pure trash with Philip Rivers. So let's continue.
You were consistently on teams at least as good as those two, like maybe Roethlisberger, maybe a few more good ones, but Rivers, he's been on some bad ones, but mostly good ones. And you get there. It's not, you like the quotes today, right? I'm quoting a lot of...
You've been on fire.
Cypress Hill, I ain't going out like that. He went out like that. Like, you can't, it's one thing to lose. I used to get on Peyton Manning for choking under pressure. Because in the playoffs, he was like the best ever in the regular season. In the playoffs, he was a shell of himself, oftentimes. Well, you can't say that. He didn't have a defense. What's that got to do with putting up 0 points? Like, they were overwhelmed. The Chargers were overwhelmed at Foxborough. They didn't do anything on offense. And
because Philip Rivers, like I said, Philip Rivers is the best of the purest trash quarterbacks ever. If there was a pure trash great quarterback award, it would be named Philip Rivers Pure Trash Quarterback Award. That's what they would call it. That's how bad Philip Rivers is. So let's continue.
Rivers looked like a deer in headlights. Once again, many people are picking the Chargers. I am not one of them because of the performance last year against the Patriots. Many people are picking the Chargers to win the division. It's going to go as far as Philip Rivers takes them.
Which won't be too far. It won't be too far at all. Like I said, Philip Rivers is good to get your hopes up. You get hyped up. This is going to be a good season, or this is going to be a good game. We're up in the fourth quarter. We're doing so good. We can make the playoffs. And here it goes again. He throws a pick, or he fumbles the ball, or there's something stupid, and something happens. Every single time you get your hopes up, Philip Rivers is there to knock you down. Yes, I'm getting a little hyped up over this because I've been going through some things with the Chargers over the years. So excuse me if I get a little hyped up over it, but that's for another video. So let's continue.
And he choked under pressure last year in the playoffs. I hate to say it. He's an Iron Man. I root for him. I want him to win that championship. You just root for certain guys. You don't know why. Rivers is one of those guys for me. But I got to call it like I see it. There is enormous pressure on Rivers now. He'll never have a better chance. Or he will go down in history as he put up good numbers, never won that Super Bowl. It's Philip Rivers.
I'm going Derek Carr. You want to talk about pressure. Let's rewind back the clock a little bit. We're talking about, remember in 2016, the season that Derek Carr, people were talking about MVP. Derek Carr was having an MVP-type season before he had the lower leg injury that ended his career. And that was the end of the Oakland Raiders season.
His career.
That just ended everything right there. So now you enter in Jon Gruden. Okay, they gave Derek Carr that big contract. I believe it was like $125 million. Okay, he's a franchise guy. I mean, he's just over the past couple of years, he's just going on to be a floundering quarterback at best at this point. So what has Jon Gruden done? Okay, since he's come aboard, he goes out, gets Mercurial, wide receiver, and Antonio Brown. You can say what you want to say about Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown is the best wide receiver of this generation. Okay,
I definitely agree with that about Antonio Brown.
It's been that good. There's no question about it. He goes out. He also gets Tyrell Williams from the Los Angeles Chargers to be that complimentary number 2 wide receiver. They go out. They draft Josh Jacobs, running back out of Alabama, who has 0 tread on his tire. This dude's going to be a beast in the league. You sign a left tackle from New England, Trent Brown. Okay, so if you're Derek Carr, or if you're the front office, and you're looking at the situations like, okay, man, we've put everything around you. Like, there's really no excuse.
We got the blindside protection. We got the guy to throw the ball to who likes the ball where you like to throw it.
We got a running back that can pound people now. Okay, and not even to mention guys that they brought in on the defensive side of the football. So if you're Derek Carr right now,
is not exactly giving you a vote of confidence.
No, he's not. Okay, and just looking at it from a macro perspective, they're moving to Las Vegas. Okay, you think they're going to take a quarterback with them to Las Vegas that's not going to have a bounce back year? They have 2 first-round picks. They're going to control the draft next year. So if you're looking at the Oakland Raiders, you're thinking, at one guy, Derek Carr, can you put it together in order to travel with this team to Las Vegas? Because if he doesn't get it done this year, it's a wrap for him in Oakland.
I definitely agree with Woody there. So, like I said, these Phillip Rivers and Derek Carr are under 2 different types of pressure. Derek Carr is under the pressure of his job, his livelihood. I think he'll get picked up someplace else, but he would definitely be cut from the Oakland Raiders. And Phillip Rivers is fighting for his legacy, but he's not going to do it. He's let me down too many times that I know this guy, okay? I know how this guy plays. He'll get you hyped up and all of a sudden throw a pick, he'll let you down. So Phillip Rivers is never going to get a ring. Never going to get a ring. Eli Manning can do it. Eli Manning should have came to San Diego. I wish we could have had Eli Manning come to San Diego, but his dad knew better. He's like, no. We don't want to go to San Diego. We don't want to go to San Diego, okay? Let's just go to New York and get 2 Super Bowl wins and beat the GOAT twice. That's what Eli Manning did, okay? You see how he does that, Phillip Rivers? And Ben Roethlisberger, that man's got 2 rings. You see how he did it? I think he won his 2nd year. But you can't do that, Phillip Rivers, because you're good to let everybody down. I'm sorry I'm getting hyped up, but I've been through a lot with the Chargers and Phillip Rivers and all that. So let's continue.
You're not only saying that he has pressure, you're saying he's on the hot seat this season.
Oh, there's no there's an inferno going on in Oakland right now. There's no excuse for him this year.
There's a lot of pressure on Derek Carr. There's no question about it. He went from a guy. He an MVP. He's the Andrew Luck was the young guy, and between Luck and Wentz. Just like now it's Mahomes, right? Oh, yeah. It makes them all look not as good. But between Luck and Wentz, Carr was the guy who maybe he's the guy. He's fallen a long way. But to me, he's really still can he be a franchise quarterback, or is he merely a starting quarterback, or is he a backup quarterback? But he'll have a job in the NFL if he wants one. He's already got his money. Carr got paid.
He did.
And we're really talking about what will his job description be, and there's pressure there. Phillip Rivers, it's not even an issue of that anymore. We know what he is. But what can he be? Can Phillip Rivers be that, what a championship does for a guy with Rivers' numbers? Rivers has the toughness, the leadership. He's put up the superstar numbers throughout his whole career. He looks like on paper, like a first ballot Hall of Famer. But we wouldn't remember Elway. I made the point yesterday. Had he not won the 2 championships at the end, we would the guys who don't. Drew Brees, take the championship away from Drew Brees, and what's the difference between him and Phillip Rivers, really? Right now, by the way,
Okay, so I hate to throw in this other guy, but what does that say about Aaron Rodgers, though? So Aaron Rodgers only has 1. What if Aaron Rodgers didn't have his Super Bowl ring? Will we not be talking about him? Because I think we just did another video talking about Aaron Rodgers is the best football player I've ever seen, yada. So if Aaron Rodgers didn't have 1 Super Bowl ring, would you say that about him, like you're saying about Phillip Rivers, who doesn't have a Super Bowl ring? So if Phillip Rivers got a Super Bowl ring, would you put him above Aaron Rodgers? That's kind of something to think about. That's food for thought right there. That might have to be another video, but let's continue.
They made their choice. They chose Philip Rivers
Philip
over Drew
Rivers
Brees.
is a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Yes,
He's a Hall of Fame
We
quarterback.
don't talk about him like the Drew Breeses of the world, do we? And what's the real difference? They chose him over Brees. They had them both. Did they make a mistake? Yes or no? Like, how will Rivers be remembered? His whole legacy. It's riding on a championship. He'll be remembered as an excellent player, no question about it. But I'm talking.
Like, who's going to remember him as an excellent player? But once Philip Rivers retires, that'll be it. Nobody will ever care about Philip Rivers again. But you can't say that about Drew Brees. You know why? Because Drew Brees is a winner, and the Chargers should have never got rid of him. I'm glad that happened because they got rid of Drew Brees. What happened? That next year or the year after that, he went and won the Super Bowl. He got a ring. And I just shows the Chargers again. What'd you get rid of Drew Brees for? He was trying to rehab from a shoulder injury. You got rid of him, and he went to the Super Bowl. And that happens all the time. Chargers are good to get rid of players that go over to New England and they win Super Bowls. Junior Seau, well, he didn't win a Super Bowl. He went, Rodney Harrison. A couple guys went to New England Patriots for the Chargers and won rings. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Again, I'm getting hyped up because I've been through a lot of things with the San Diego Chargers and Philip Rivers over the years. But so, just excuse me. So let's continue.
Talking about for the rest of your life, how really the kind of conversations people have about you. That's pressure.
Well, let me ask you a question. As far as career is concerned, would you take Philip Rivers or Eli Manning?
Eli Manning.
Really?
Easy.
Why would you even ask that? If Philip Rivers, if Eli Manning just won 2 Super Bowls, you'd have to pick him over Philip Rivers, who's never even been to a Super Bowl. But let alone have Eli Manning, he beat Tom Brady twice. Arguably the GOAT. He beat him twice. Not once, but twice. So it wasn't a fluke. So, I don't even know why would that even be a question right there. And again, which will probably have to be for another video, what does that say about Eli Manning if he beat Tom Brady, the GOAT, twice? What does it put him? If you beat the GOAT twice, you never lost to the GOAT, well, what does that make you? What does that make you? Nobody answers that for me. Nobody answers that. But let's continue.
Why?
Because he won not just 2 Super Bowls, but 2 Super Bowl MVPs. Look, I'm a Giants fan. We had Rivers.
He had moments.
Hold up.
Wouldn't you say that's really the thing about when we talk about Eli Manning?